Everybody. Welcome to the Gridiron Survivor stream. Today we are doing some sprint demos, but before we do that, I wanted to explain what Gridiron Survivor is. It's an apprenticeship program that I created. I saw on social media and just some friends that were trying to break into tech and they couldn't find a job. Um, Once I started to review their work and understand what experience they had, it was clear to me that it was simple. Like they just didn't have real world experience, and that's tough to get. And so with Grand Survivor, it was an apprenticeship program that was created so that we could work as a team. But not just that, you go through the whole agile process of getting a task, getting it done, understanding the requirements, going through pull requests and doing reviews, also writing unit tests, and then cross collaborating as well because we have a designer and then I act as the engineering manager and product owner. And so being able to understand that you can't just take a task, do it, and finish it and push it up, right? Like if you do it independently, it's very simple. You just everything looks great. All the code looks fantastic, right? Yeah, I don't need to write any tests because I don't know what those are, or you do know what they are, but you're writing them anyways. Um, so I treat the project as a company. So when the PR comes to us, Nick and I, we review them and we review them thoroughly, and we say, if it's not good quality work, we're going to tell you. That way, you can go back and make it better, improve the quality. These up, write tests to cover the functionality that you're creating or adjusting, things like that. That will happen in the real world because then it starts to push you to understand that hey, working on a real job is not that simple. Like it's like I only know a little bit, like opposed to some individuals in the industry that have gone through so much experience. And that's where this project or this apprenticeship was created so that it can bridge that gap and giving you those experiences to find that job. And I will gladly say, I won't tell you who it is. Like, I don't think anybody knows yet. But somebody today messaged me and said, "Hey, I got the job. I was hired on as a full-time developer."
Nice.
And that person said that thank you for the Grand Survivor. It taught me how to work as a team. It taught me how to collaborate, and it taught me how to like go through the motions of unit testing and the whole deployment process. That was a piece that this individual was missing, and that's exactly why this apprenticeship program is here. And what it's for is to be guided by senior engineers to understand like what the pitfalls are, what success looks like in a day-to-day environment as an engineer. So it's awesome to hear these kind of stories because it's rewarding for me to know that I played a little part in changing somebody's life to become an engineer, right? Because oftentimes, like these individuals that are out there in the market, they're searching for years sometimes, right? And it's disheartening to know that it's tough, but it's very easy once you start to get to know them and see the work that, oh, you're actually not hireable yet. You need more experience. You need to get yourself out there more and expand your knowledge more. It's not even just coding part. Like it's just the soft skills part, right, Nick? It's just the process of understanding what to do and how to do it. And once you get that down, then yeah, it's about the code. It's about writing better code and all that stuff. But if I can trust that you can get this done without me babysitting you, then I probably won't hire you, right? So we want to get past that point. So that's a little about Grand Survivor. So as we're losing members, we need more people. So if you're interested, DM me on LinkedIn. I'm conducting some interviews for the new batch and the new wave of individuals that wants to join Grand Survivor. The project itself is mostly front end. There are some backend aspects, but the whole process of learning how to take a feature and push it all the way through to production, I think that's a really key element in the apprenticeship program. So,
yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Hey, how's it going, Hector?
Going good, thanks.
I'm not ignoring Lillian. I said hi to her before we went live.
And Michael too. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
I think he's at work or library. That's okay, Michael. You don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. Um, so yeah, so today again we're gonna do sprint demos. We have individuals here, Hector, Lillian, Michael. We have other ones too that if they show up, then we can do more sprint demos. But the demos today could be small, could be big. Let the team know that when you go to sprint demo, it doesn't have to be full-fledged features, right? It could be things you're working on. It could be things you're learning. It could be just a new tool that you found that could be amazing to try out, or if we wanted to incorporate it into the project, right? Oh yeah, I always forget this. What are we building? Like, what is the Grid Survivor building? I always get asked this, like, oh yeah, you didn't tell us what you're building. I was like, that's true. We didn't. We are building a Secret Santa app. It is gonna go live here for friends and family in about a month. The reason why this app is different is because we do AI gift suggestions based on a couple categories that you choose, and also likes and dislikes that you put into the field. Our AI can take all the information in and give a gift suggestion that an individual would highly like, right? Because what's worse than getting another crock pot, right? Like, I don't want that crock pot. Like, I already have 5 of them in storage. But getting a gift that they actually like and they will actually enjoy. So our application is going to be free. We were adding affiliate marketing behind it so that we can, make some money off of it. But we wanted to open it up to the public to use our application for free because we wanted, number one, to be different. We wanted, number two, to be accessible, and number three, to create a way for individuals to receive better gifts, right? And that's what our AI is going to do. So that's what we're doing. Anything else for anybody to add on?
I'm excited.
You're excited for the demos or excited for the app?
Oh, everything, just in general. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get to it. Hector, you are first because nobody else wanted to be first, so I have you first. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me just
Okay. Awesome.
set this up. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. There. Okay, so my presentation is on my current ticket. We're currently doing a bunch of priority 0 tickets, which are like the most important tickets for our app to work, like major bugs or like major design flaws. So my ticket was whenever the user logged out, it correctly logged out their information, but it didn't refresh them or send them back to the home page. And there was also no unit test for that feature. So the first part was simple. So my first thought going into this was, oh, that's easy. We're just missing a redirect or something. And that's what I learned here. Can you see the code? This is just a different machine.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe zoom it in one more, maybe, just for the viewers.
Yeah.
You can do Command plus or Control plus.
Yeah, it just gets a bit slow sometimes because it's a virtual machine. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. So the logout function is in off context, and it is right here. But it already had this router push, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a much bigger problem than I thought. It'll be easier going to. Yeah, okay, this is on GitHub. So this is the logout function, and it already had a router push, which redirects to the homepage, and I thought, oh, this is a much bigger problem. So after a bit of research, I noticed that we were using Next Router instead of Next Navigation, which is used in other pages, and they're similar, but they still work slightly different. So that was the fix. I just switched it from Next Router to Next Navigation. And also, whenever we used use router, it was previously inside the logout function, and I just brought it to the top level of the app. So that was just the simple fix for this logout thing. And the next part of my ticket was to create a unit test to make sure that the logout function works properly. Let's go back here. So on the right is the unit test. And I had to mock a lot of things that I didn't think I would need mock. So our app connects to a Supabase database, so I knew I had to mock that. I'd have to mock the router, the next navigation router, to redirect to the home page. But I also needed to mock a lot of other things, like whenever we use Supabase in the logout function, I had to mock every single function that it used, which was a sign out function, a function to get the session, and a function to get the user. And then every time we called Supabase functions, for example, here supabase.off.signout, off, sign out, and whenever it calls that function in my test, it would call my mock sign out function. And after doing all those mocks, I have my test component here. It's just a simple logout button. So on click, it'll run the logout function from this context. And just to make sure I have the correct state, I have a simple component here that'll just display true or false depending on the is signed in state. And another thing that was unexpected for me is that right here I get the components from their IDs. I expect them to be in the documents. And I didn't know I needed this wait for. I kept getting an error without it. I expected the login state to be true because in my mocks, you can see that I have an example user and session already set up, but I got an error there. And that was because there's a use effect in the provider that grabs the session immediately, and the is sign-in state is set to null. And the way React works is that it what's the word, like it batches state updates. It's probably one of the earliest things that people learning React learn, where they're learning about use state and they do something like set value to 1, 2, and 3 in the same block of code, and they only get the last input because the previous ones get overridden. So that was what was happening here. So without this await, this wouldn't get the latest state update. So I had to wait for this grab session to be done to get and set the is signed in state here. And yeah, and then it would get true. Then after that, I'd fire the event and then get the following. Yeah, just make sure that the user gets signed out, which is false, and gets redirected to the home page. And you can see here, if I run this test, unless the text is too small or it takes a while, you can see here previously I already ran the test and it passed. So
Okay.
there it is running, and there it passed. And yep, that's pretty much it for my side of the presentation.
Cool. Can you go back to the code, Hector?
The code, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice because that feature that you have to wait for, right? Because it waits for things to be done, or it waits for this to be true before doing anything, and that's something that you learn right away. Is like you expect it to do, you expect it to change because it's supposed to change, but with code and re-renders and just the queue and everything, like it takes, sometimes you have to wait for it and sometimes you don't. But it's interesting that it wasn't working, and we had to wait for it because as you can see in the code itself, right? It does a set session, and it goes to conditional, sets the user, and then sets the resets the state back to true. So a couple different functionalities are being ran, and that's exactly why, because it needs to wait for everything to complete first before it actually gets the value that you're expecting.
Yeah, you can see right there. I just commented out the await as an example to see what happens when it runs. It might take a bit because the screen sharing is slowing down the computer a bit. Oh, there it is. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it expects it sign in to be true, but except it has false because this use effect didn't run yet. There is also probably some cleanup to be done here because the is signed in is set to null and the grab session doesn't really set it to false if there's an error. So because set sign in is probably null, it probably equates it to false, and that's why it's false. So that can probably be cleaned up in a later issue, but yeah, that's the issue that I was getting on. It wasn't true. Yeah, it wasn't true before the await.
I think for the testing, one thing I'd say is maybe this can be in a follow-up issue, but in general, you don't want to mock a lot, but sometimes you have to. But like you try to avoid it. But I think in the case of Supabase, I don't think there's a choice. I'd have to dig deeper. But what I'd say is all the stuff you mocked in Supabase, what we could do is, because we use it throughout the project, I think extracting that into like a test utility that you could just so that the next time somebody else has to do it, or maybe we tweak it to mock certain states, like because when you do the mock, you can also say like what the expected value is. So it's more just a general, like it doesn't affect what you've done here, but I think if we're gonna mock Supabase again, it'd be good to put it into that separate utility test class, or sorry, test function.
Yeah, I agree with that. And in this case, this is the first time where it's being used here, so it makes sense not to do that yet. But yes, anytime we're gonna reuse this, like it is gonna do that. I think there's a bigger task that Alex is working on to do something like that.
Yeah.
So eventually it will get decoupled out and used as a test utility class. But yeah, I mean it's the same thing, right? It's not just about testing now; it's about like writing clean code and reusable code and all of that. So great job with this because like it seems easy, right, Hector? It's just like, oh, it should be easy, and then and then we come in and say, hey, guess what? Write a test for it. And then you're like, ah, damn it! Like, how do I do that then?
Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah. I think I know testing is something like we've kind of introduced you to, not just you specifically, Hector, but you'll see as you start getting better at testing, it's gonna change how you build things, because like when things are tightly coupled, meaning like say, I don't know, you have something you need to use, but it's right inside the function, like you can't pass it in or change it out. All of a sudden, it makes things more rigid for testing. So I have a feeling you'll see the more you do testing, you're going to see how you write your code will change too. So
yeah, because this ticket has like changed how I thought of testing, because how I usually thought of it was I thought when you run a test, it like has a virtual page or something, because you can see the div elements showing up sometimes, like right here. So I thought it was like it runs a virtual page and then it does like all the clicks or whatever it is you're testing, but it's like more or less intuitive than that. It just runs the code. So like, for example, with the testing stuff, when it mocks like the Supabase client, and it's running this. So okay, so I render this, and the first thing is that the auth context provider is wrapped around my test login button. When it hits this, instead of using this implementation of Supabase JS, it goes to my mock version. So it just goes line by
Yeah.
line. And if I mock something here, then it'll replace the real implementation with my mock implementation. So that's something new I learned while doing this ticket. Just how it replaces the real implementation with the mock stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is a bit confusing because I'm not assigning this to a variable or anything.
Yeah.
It's just dot
It
mock. So
just, yep.
that's what
I think
tripped me up.
that's good. That's something that, like, as you get further into testing and you need to do it, it becomes confusing. But as you learn it more, then sometimes you overuse it too, you know. But in this case, it's correctly used. And it's funny because the first season of Grand Survivor, we had Ryan and my writing tests, and I kept saying mock it, mock it, and they're like, "What mock? What? What's mock?"
Yeah.
And you know what I was talking about. I just kept telling them to mock it, mock the function, mock, you know, mock the results, because your test is failing because you're not mocking the return. Like we don't want to call it because it's a unit test. It's not an integration test. So mock that function that you're utilizing, then the pet test will pass. And it was funny, but they learned it later, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't so clear. I thought that you would go in and research like how to mock in unit testing." Oh, Ryan, yep, he was just laughing right there. So yeah, so it is a good methodology to learn, because as you write more complex functionality and things that in that file that uses like third-party applications or third-party plugins and stuff, if you don't mock it, it's going to use it, you know, and then it fails because like, oh well, something's missing, and it's like, oh well, I don't know, how do I get around this, like. So the mocking feat thing has been very interesting, but like when I learned it too, it was like, what is this? Like, I don't even know what this is doing. Like, how does it know to call user router? Like, use router. Like, what isn't it supposed to fail? but no, it's just mocking it. So
Another quick funny thing that happened to me while I was doing this unit test. An example of how AI can sometimes be wrong. I have like a windsurf extension that it'll sometimes autocomplete things. So you can see these here that say mock resolve value. While I was doing it, it would autocomplete it, and sometimes I would hit it. But there was one time where instead of saying mock resolve value, let's see if it does it here. Well,
that's a live demo. It's not going to do it for you.
Yeah, it did this instead, mocked rejected value. And I didn't notice because it was just there, and I just thought, oh, it'll autocomplete it all. And it would kept failing my test, and I didn't know because mock rejected value is a valid thing that you can be testing for. So I have to go line by line, and it looks similar. So yeah, that was just, that took a bit of time to notice, just a simple typo.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's just a good reminder that like I vibe code as well, but you always need to be critical of what it gives you. Because to your point, you didn't notice initially, but like, you know, it's just good to, you know, AI is definitely helpful, but you can't take it verbatim. You gotta check it out for sure.
Yeah, I definitely snooze the autocomplete every once in a while because it just gets a bit too much.
cool. Thanks, Hector. Thanks for that demo. Although it's small, it makes a big impact. All right, Lillian, you are next. Are you ready to go?
Sure. Thanks, Hector, for reminding me I have to write a unit test for my appreciate you.
Shashi's gonna find you if you don't.
I always find that. I always find it.
Okay, so my task for this sprint was to create a dashboard alert system. So first order of business was to freak out And then after that, I time boxed, talked to some of my cohort members, and remembered to break things down. So the first
Awesome.
step of that was to create a toast notification component instead, and that's what I'm going to be demoing today. So for reference, this is the toast notification. It's like a transient pop-up that disappears on its own after a while and can also be dismissed. If I go to my code quick, I started out with a variant config and defined the title and tailwind classes that I would use for the different variants. So the first one would be the countdown, and I coded it so that if there are between 1 to 3 days between the current day and the draw date for the Secret Santa exchange, then this will pop up with a 1 day to go, 2 day to go, 3 day to go notification. Second variation is the drawing day. So it's the drawing day, like we're all hyped, let's get going, let's draw this. And then the last version is the overdue, where the drawing date has passed. And since there's a manual draw, we prompt the group owner to either draw now or reschedule that draw for later. And then I just passed in these decoupled props here according to the toast notification interface, which I wrote here. And then I also have an enum that lists out the variables specifically. And then the variable or the conditional rendering itself, I left to the dashboard. And here I have a state variable, toast data, passed in the toast variance and the string, and made sure that it was initially set to null. After the drawing, I initiated the variables for the drawing date, the time difference, which is the difference between current date and drawing date, and also did this map here to convert it from milliseconds into days, just in case we have like a 1.1, it would actually round up to 2 for the difference. And then I also have this condition here that I outlined before for each of the variables. So countdown, drawing day, and overdue message, and also the variant that will populate down here if there is a valid object. Otherwise, there will be no pop-up or toast. So I'll just go through. This is the draw date that we have here, and it's set to yesterday, so we would expect that same pop-up styled in red with the drawing date has passed. Then if we go in to the actual group and change I'm gonna go into the group and change that setup date for the drawing, and I would expect different outcomes depending on each.
Cool. Nice to see
Whoa.
we have a skeleton loader.
Yeah, it's something's going on. Do you have a breakpoint or something that it's hitting?
Maybe.
Could be I mean, worst case, give it a refresh.
Okay.
We do have very good looking skeleton loaders though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is it possible it looks like because like the images aren't loading and stuff too. I wonder if Did your web app stop even though it's in the browser still?
Maybe.
It happens sometimes,
Just
like
try
with
to
a
close it.
like sometimes a single page application, it'll still be in the browser, but like the service or the web server stops.
Maybe just try to close it and rerun the dev.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing happened. It probably just your dev server. It looks at least like it died because it was working fine a second ago.
Yeah.
You could do if you go to your terminal, to your shell, you can just do kill all, one word, space node, and then just start the dev server again. I'm not sure what you have running, but there's like, are you running it in? I'm assuming you're running it in VS Code, or?
Yes, I am. It just took me some time to get to it for some reason. Can you repeat the command, Nick?
Yeah. If you just type in kill all, like KILLALL, this is like no space though.
Okay.
And then just type
And then you
node.
said node.
Normally don't do this for like if you have like on a production server. This is just I don't know what you're running on your local, but so this stops all the development servers or anything running node, and you can just start it up again.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then just give it a sec if you check your VS Code. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It appears.
Yay.
What's the port it's running on? If we go back to the,
4,
I mean, I'm assuming it's supposed to be 4,000.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be
Yeah,
4,000.
should be.
What is it not liking? Is it still running? I don't see. Okay. Yeah, 4,000.
Oh, it's still starting.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder. You have another. You see on your right in VS Code, you have two terminals open. Go to the first one and see what's going on in there. Okay, so nothing in there. Okay. We could, if I'm trying to think what else would be stopping it.
Yeah, can you go look at the terminal again? The second one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's wait for this to be done.
Compiling.
Nothing like a broken demo on doing live, right?
Yeah.
Always happens.
Is it being ran twice?
Canon event.
Yeah, that's what we're trying. That's what Nick did. The command to kill all node operations, and then running it, it should now just singularly run.
Isn't the first one still running?
No,
I think there's nothing in it.
Yeah,
but...
there's nothing in it. It was just commands are done in there.
Okay, there, built, finally compiled. It's just going slowly for some reason. You could check. Are you on? Are you on Win? Oh yeah, you're on Mac. If you just go to Activity Monitor,
It works.
We'll let it. Yeah.
It
okay, there we
works.
go. We're back. Cool.
Hey, thank you.
And I'll just say it again. If do not run kill all node if you're on a production server.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. If you want the day to be interesting, go for it.
Do you open up your inspector?
Sure.
Right. Yeah, you can right click and inspect. So let's see what's happening. I'm gonna go to network.
I think it's
the
dev server is just running slow.
Yeah, can you refresh again?
Okay, so I think that error you see there, I think that's a hydration error. That wouldn't slow the page down, but yeah, see, it's pending. We could
yeah, something's going on.
we could do nuclear
No
because
drama
I'm not on your
video.
computer, but you could literally close VS Code completely and just reopen it and start the dev server. It's
That's okay.
it's just good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you demoed was good, Lillian. I think the next step
Okay.
is to actually move it out so that it could be reused, because
Mhm.
we want the notifications for everything in the app. When we want to fire it, then it shows up like how you had it. And then also
Okay.
work with Monica on how she wants the
Mhm.
layout of the toast notifications to look like. If she wants like emojis, icons, like text, right? Then that's the whole thing. So then that would like complete the whole task. And like I told you to, like it is gonna take some time because this is not a simple feature. And I know this is one of the bigger features you worked on, which is great because then it's gonna push you to really learn how to do more things and how to create some functionality that could be then used by a lot of the other utility classes and components that they need to call a notification. So, but I mean, it's looking good. I think you have the right concept down, and it's great. You
Okay.
know, this is a work in progress, and we're gonna continue to work on it.
Yeah.
So,
The one thing I'll mention, Lynn, yeah, you know how you mentioned you're converting it to milliseconds?
Yes.
So which works obviously. The time object in JavaScript has a method called getTime. So you don't, and that'll
Mhm.
actually convert it to milliseconds. So you can, instead of having the, I forget what the numbers you had there, but you can just do dot get time, and then just a little suggestion.
That's really cool. Thank you, Nick.
sweet, great job, Lillian.
Thank you.
Michael, I don't know if you had something to demo. I know you said you were going to record something, and then but I didn't receive anything from you.
He could be in the library still.
I think he is. Wait, is he? Studio
He's
chat.
probably trying
I
to.
could talk about I've learned it's the right work, or perhaps pull up. You can talk about what you learned from the Grand Survivor workflow. That'll be good. Or maybe he's not here anymore.
Maybe he's trying to talk, but the librarian in the library is right beside him, going shh.
That's okay. No, I think this is good. I think these two demos were fantastic. We were going to talk about Grand Survivor as well, and I just wanted to just highlight what we've been doing. It's been a minute since we've live streamed. We did a bug bash with the team, and that's how we came up all these tasks that Hector, Lily, and Michael they're working on. We found a bunch of issues that we need to improve on and fix before we get it into beta testing. We identify what priority they are, and then with P0, P1, P2, P3s, we've also identified. We did what is it? Sprint planning and estimated the sprint points as a group, and we did the planning poker so that the individuals could like guesstimate how long things are going to take, and then I would question them like, why is it so low, why is it so high, and then we would revote, and then we would find a final number, and then I would always choose the highest number to give them more time to work on it, because as you know, you have to write tests, you have to go through the whole PR process and get it all the way through into deployment, so it takes time. So it was a great session that we had, and we'll probably live stream that one next time because I think it's beneficial for everyone to kind of learn how you can estimate your tasks. Even when you're working on your own projects, right? You can like guesstimate it, you can prioritize it, and understand that you don't need everything done at the same time. You just need your highest priority items completed first, and giving yourself an estimation of when these things might be done, and then it gives you a runway and also a schedule of when you might have all these things completed by. So we have that, and we're trying to finish that up in the next week or two here. And once we do that and we release it, we are going to open this up to our friends and family to sign up to our Secret Santa app, to log in, create your groups, create your Secret Santa, all that stuff, and then do the gifts exchange, because we want to know what's working, what's not working, to improve this application. Because once we go live to the general public in October-ish, we want this application to be fine-tuned and work in order. It is far along now, so we just want to tweak some things, get some more UX improvements in before we release it out. So look out for that invite. We'd love for you to play around with it and give us some suggestions on how to improve. But I think this is it. I think we're going to keep it nice and simple. 50 minutes. Usually I just do an hour stream, or actually 40 minutes. We start 10 minutes late. But I think that this is, fantastic. And again, like, we are looking for new members, maybe 2 or 3 individuals to join the team to learn and grow. Hector and Lillian and Michael are now veterans, so they get to onboard you, right, just like that. But my ultimate goal is always to have these individuals get kicked off the team because they got a job, right? So once they get a job, I kick them off the team, because that's the whole point of this apprenticeship program, is get you the skills so that you get hired, and then hopefully in a couple years or so you come back to help out. So but thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Later, everybody.
Right.